Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today with the launch of Season 1 within Black Ops 6 and now Warzone as well, we ended up not only getting obviously all the major Season 1 content, the full-on Warzone integration, but we did end up getting two new free weapons through the Season 1 Battle Pass, the KRIG rifle and then the SAUG SMG. And today, I wanted to go through and break down the initial best setups you want to be running for our brand new Season 1 weapons, break down a setup for each of them for multiplayer, then also discuss a little bit of a setup for them for Warzone as well. So starting first here with the KRIG, this seems by all means very much so competitive with the other rifles that we've got in the game right now. There is a bug going on with the rifles at the time that I'm recording this video within multiplayer where all their damage profiles are the same as they were at launch and not reflective of the Season 1 values for whatever reason. They are aware of that. The devs are going to be updating that, they did say, but as far as the KRIG goes, this is a pretty well-rounded rifle. It's got good mobility, especially with the standard setup on here. It's pretty easy to use also with this build here too, and good range as well. So like it's checking all the right boxes. Of course, it's a battle pass gun. It's feeling pretty consistent. So for a basic multiplayer setup here, first up, the optics. I actually think the iron sights are pretty clean here. So if you're a fan of them, you could absolutely swap this out for something else. I'll mention some good replacements in just a moment, but Kepler reflex is a big go-to of mine for multiplayer, a basic red dot here. You can go through and change that reticle if you want. Obviously, Warzone's got the new reticles now as well with like the blue dots and everything going on there. So adjust that as needed, but I do really like the Kepler microflex on there. Ported compensator also feels really good here for the vertical control and the first shot control, just obviously making the weapon a bit more easy to predict. And same deal with the vertical foregrip, which actually helps out with horizontal control. The pattern here at first is a little bit awkward. It definitely jumps around a little bit, but after you stack those on there, it's a lot more consistent and way easier to stay on target over range. I also go for the balanced stock, better strafe movement, hip fire movement, and then also ADS strafe as well. So it's a lot more aggressive as a rifle. And then lastly, I liked the recoil springs on here. Again, helped out that control, made this weapon a lot more predictable and laser accurate. Now, if you do like the iron sights and you don't want to use an optic, I think running something like the reinforced barrel would be a great choice here just for some better range and some better velocity on there. Or you could go for something like a rear grip that would help out with maybe the ADS or the slide to fire, dive to fire, stuff like that could be good too. But I think you'd be getting the most out of a barrel personally. But yeah, the KRIG C overall for multiplayer feels pretty solid. Now though, let's talk about in Warzone because things are a bit different. So with this, obviously the type of gunfights you're taking are a tad bit different and the general gameplay is obviously a lot different as well. You know, suppressors are valued more in Warzone there. Everything about the gunfights and the ranges that you're fighting all differs a lot. So for instance, jumping up from a microflex, I go for the Jason Armory 2x scope. I really like the look of this thing. I think the Willis 3x is also really good as well. So this is still more of a preference thing for optics as always, but these are two that I really enjoy using so far. The basic suppressor here obviously going to be ideal for keeping you off the map. Reinforced barrel in this case also very good as well, extending the range and the velocity some, just making you more efficient in the mid to long range there. Vertical underbarrel or foregrip yet again for that better horizontal control. And then in this case you got to go for extended mag 2 for sure, just to make sure you have all the ammo in the world. You're not going to have to worry about mid-fight stopping and reloading there. You could obviously always upgrade to gunfighter, throw on the balanced stock, throw on the recoil springs, throw on a rear grip, whatever the case is there, if you need that as well. But for a base 5 attachment setup, this thing will be decently effective. There definitely are, it seems like though, more lethal mid to long range guns. This is more so just like a mid-tier usable, somewhat competitive one. And by the way, as we are breaking down the weapons and setups here today, if you enjoy the video, if you find it helpful at all, a like rating is always seriously appreciated, helps grow the channel and share it around to new viewers. And if you happen to be one of those new viewers or part of the 57% of viewers who are already watching the videos but aren't subscribed yet, we should change that. Every single day I got you covered with news, updates, patch notes, meta breakdowns. Everything going on in COD is right here, so feel free to hit that subscribe button to guarantee you're up to date. We are of course on the road to 1 million, and I'd love to see if we could try and hit that before the end of the year. But next up here we've got the SAUG. They have a crazy looking mastercraft in the store that I ended up grabbing because the irons here are pretty clean, although they're pretty clean on the base version as well. But this thing as a close range SMG is nice. It's actually pretty low recoil as well. Even without the ideal setup here, when I was first leveling it, it felt really clean, really easy to use. And for close range in Warzone, it's going to be solid as well, although again, the setups do differ a little bit. So initially here for multiplayer, first up, I'm going for the ported compensator yet again, just because this is really, really good for, you know, those close range engagements. It's not going to slow you down with your ADS or anything there and keeping the weapon easy to use. I also go for the reinforced barrel in this case as well, extending out that damage range and that velocity some, just ideal for those multiplayer scenarios where this is the only weapon you're using and you don't necessarily have another primary like you would over in Warzone if you grab a second loadout. Vertical foregrip, again, ideal for that horizontal control, makes the pattern a lot more predictable, and there's no real cons here, so that's a win-win. Although Ranger foregrip is also a phenomenal choice as well, and if you wanted to go for that, it's going to do a little bit less for your control, but do more for your movement. So that's a W as well. You can sort of bounce back and forth between those two. I also go for the ergonomic grip here in multiplayer for a better ADS, slide to fire, and dive to fire, and then the balanced stock as well with the strafe, ADS, strafe, hip fire, and movement speed benefits as well. So you're flying and frying with this thing. It feels phenomenal in core, in hardcore. For the headshots, it's pretty easy to use as well, though it does get some hit markers to the body in hardcore, but in core it's fries, and in general it's a pretty easy, straightforward SMG. Hey everyone, really quickly wanted to give a big shout out to my friends over at Gamer Advantage. Every single time I'm doing a face cam video here on the channel, obviously I am rocking my Gamer Advantage frames. I've said it before, I'll say it again, out of everything in my setup on a day-to-day basis, these are what make the biggest difference. They allow me to look at screens all day long, whether I'm working on content, editing videos, playing the games, whatever the case is. These are keeping me headache free. They're letting me sleep better at night, reducing my eye strain. They are absolutely incredible, and this applies to you as well. If you are at work looking at screens all day, you're at school doing the same, or you're playing games, maybe creating your own content even, cannot recommend Gamer Advantage glasses enough. They got plenty of different colorways and frame options to fit your style. They offer prescription and regular lenses, so quite literally something for everyone. And if you ever want to get a pair for yourself, toss in code Immortal at checkout and you'll get yourself a nice little discount. Link for that will be down in the description below. And then on the Warzone side of things, again, yes, the setup is looking decently different here. Once more clean iron, so I end up opting for the suppressor again just to stay off the minimap there. I actually also go for the extended mag too. In this case, it's got a fast fire rate, so you definitely want to make sure you got plenty of ammo, you got that safety net, you're not going to run out middle of a fight there. Ergonomic grip here as well for the better ADS, slide to fire, and dive to fire. Obviously very, very important. You could also run around a CQB and get the better sprint to fire. Just a matter of which do you want to feel better, the ADS speed or the sprint to fire speed there. To me, ergonomic is a little bit more consistent. I also go for the balanced stock in this case once more. Strafing for base and ADS benefits, movement benefits, hip fire movement benefits there. And then I also really like the overpressured ammo here because this is going to extend out that velocity some and give you a bit more consistency in the mid-range with this thing. Now that said, recoil springs is also a great choice as well for a Warzone build. And if you wanted to run gunfighter, you could end up throwing on an underbarrel. I'd probably go for Ranger in this case yet again. A barrel as well if you wanted to. Reinforced would typically be that go-to in this case as well. An optic if you wanted, a laser if you really wanted to as well for the full 8 on there. But yeah, the SAUG is also pretty solid for Warzone, especially just because its mobility and its overall TTK up close is competitive enough with a lot of the other close range options as it stands. But all that being said, that is effectively going to wrap things up for this one. Those are the best setups and loadouts for the new KRIG and the SAUG in multiplayer and Warzone. If you enjoyed the video, a like would be seriously appreciated. And if you want to stay up to date with everything going on in COD, we obviously have a lot of loadout videos inbound for Warzone, tips and tricks, the latest news and updates. Everything going on is here on a daily basis, so feel free to hit that sub button on your way out. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.